The team at Dungarees know the hardest workers pack the biggest appetites. They've teamed up with me, Chef Jonathan Collins from The Outdoors Chef, to bring you simple, handcrafted recipes for hardworking men and women. Whether you're hosting the big game or cooking for an entire campsite, maybe you're cooking something that you've recently hunted or firing up the barbecue in the backyard, we've got recipes that hungry people will love to cook and eat. Today's recipe was written with game night in mind. We know that sports fans love their food almost as much as their team. That's why we wrote a recipe that serves large groups of people, holds really well, and is full of flavor. If you've got sports nuts in your family, they'll love it as much as mine do. Linesman pulled pork hoagies are the perfect food for before, after, or during a game. They're easy to make and they're so full flavored. You can see in front of me I have a pork shoulder. Now pork shoulder is inexpensive. It takes a long time to cook, 2 to 3 hours to get nice and tender, but once it's done, boy does it hold, and tons of flavor. I'm going to show you how to make a marinade to begin breaking it down, how to braise it to perfection, and then we're going to do a coleslaw, and I've got these beautiful hoagie buns that we're going to toast to make them nice and crisp. To start, let's go with that beautiful marinade. Now I've got a base, and I'm going to use apple cider. Apple cider is going to bring some great sweetness. It's going to carry all of these powerful spices. I've got fennel, I've got star anise, coriander, and even some allspice berries. Let's get this started. With these allspice berries in and all of these herbs, I'm gonna whisk it up, put some garlic and beautiful shallots in there. The thing I love about this marinade is that while it'll break down the connective tissue and give incredible flavor to this beautiful roast, when I braise using this, it becomes part of the sauce and nothing goes to waste. Now with this marinade completed, I've got the beautiful fragrance from fresh herbs, some heat from jalapeno. I've got the sweetness from that cider. Now I've got a little bit of cider vinegar. This is gonna bring some of that acidity that I want for a marinade. And then this pork shoulder, this is the collar butt. You can see all that beautiful marbling in it. Now it's still bone in, but this is actually a really big cut. So if you don't have a bag big enough, this is what you can do. You literally just press that in, and then the key is you want to make sure to get it covered. So I'm just going to top it up with a bit more cider, and that's ready to go into the refrigerator. Now it's important that it's covered. We want that airtight. This can go in for 24 hours ahead of time, a minimum of 4 hours. We want to get all of that flavor inside the pork. After marinating overnight, this pork is ready to go into the oven. The key is to start by developing flavors first. I want to take it out of the liquid and then pat it dry so that I have all of that moisture off when it comes time to sear. I'm literally going to leave as much of the ingredients in there. Oh man, it smells incredible. And I'm just going to drain this off. I'll pat it dry and then I'll sear it to begin to develop that beautiful flavor. Look at that. Butter is going to give me a ton of flavor, and I'm adding a little bit of olive oil to raise the smoke point. I want to throw on a lot of heat now. Now look at this beautiful roast. I'm going to start with the presentation side down. When I roll it in, I want to roll it away from me so that I don't get splattered by any of that fat. I'm going to press it down into the pan and brown all sides. Now, I've got a brazier, which is great. I love the cast iron. But if you've got a slow cooker at home, make sure instead of putting all the ingredients in, that you start off in the same way by browning it. Turn your slow cooker on high, get it brown before you put all those ingredients in. You'll have much better results. Now this is a critical error that some people make because they don't take the time to develop all of that beautiful flavor. Now I'm going to take this out, set it aside. I'm putting it on a grill pan. Any juices that come out of it are going to go back in. But here's something that I want to show you. Listen, I've got some hard cider here. In the bottom of the pan, there's a ton of flavor. We're going to bring that up by adding some of this beautiful hard cider. All of that is going to be deglazed. And then this hard cider is all going directly into my sauce. Now that marinade has come up to simmer, it's ready to braise. So what I'll do is I'll take and put the shoulder back in that beautiful liquid, and you can see how it comes up the sides. That's the critical thing whenever you're braising, to have it covered and to make sure that it's got enough liquid in it. Now, what's gonna happen is it's gonna keep that environment humid, but at the same time, it'll also capture any of that beautiful flavor that's gonna be coming out of my roast. With the roast braising, it'll need 2 to 3 hours to become nice and tender. Now, one of the things that's great to serve with the beautiful pulled pork is coleslaw. And the reason we do is because it's got that little bit of acidity, but I'm gonna make it using mayonnaise and a beautiful apple cider so that I get a little bit of richness to go with that acidity to cut through the fat from the pork. So it's just as simple as starting with a big heaping tablespoon of mayonnaise. And then I've got some apple cider vinegar, which I love, equal amounts. I'll whisk this together, and then I'll start adding all of the other ingredients. The combination of lemon zest and lemon juice plus a beautiful whole grain mustard and a little bit of fresh mint is going to really brighten this up. Now I've got 3 main ingredients for the coleslaw. I've got Savoy cabbage, which I love. It's a little more ruffly and light than the heavy white or red cabbage. And then fennel, which is going to bring a licorice flavor in. The easiest thing I'm going to do is the carrot. I'm simply going to use a peeler, and so I get nice thin slices. I'm literally going to use the peeler to bring this together in bite-sized pieces. After braising for exactly 3 hours, the pork is just pulling apart beautifully. What I did then is I strained off all the ingredients inside the marinade and reduced it, and the consistency is that of like a syrupy barbecue sauce. It's a concentration of all those incredible flavors that we put together. Now, time to build this hoagie. What I've done is I'm literally gonna take some of this gorgeous coleslaw and mound it on top of that toasted bun. Now, I toasted the bun so that I would get an extra level of flavor. Then, on with the pulled pork, layering it on so that every bite has some of that coleslaw and some of the beautiful pulled pork. So it's tender, pull apart goodness. And then to finish it off, I've got this sauce that was made from the marinade, and that's gonna be sweet, it's gonna be savory, topped with the bun that's been toasted. And look at that. For me, that is the perfect Linesman pulled pork hoagie. Thanks for checking out this recipe. You can download a printable version of the full recipe by going to dungarees.com/recipes. And don't forget to check out the other recipes in this delicious series. Until then, remember, in the kitchen, slow is smooth and smooth is fast.